proved otherwise. He left her mother struggling financially while he went on to build one of the most valuable companies in the world. So much for thinking different. John F. Kennedy, Camelot's golden boy. The young, charismatic president who inspired a generation. Born into a wealthy family in 1917, JFK was groomed for greatness from an early age. He served heroically in World War II, earning the Navy and Marine Corps Medal for his bravery. His political career began in 1947 when he was elected to the House of Representatives, followed by a successful Senate run in 1953. As president, he navigated significant events like the Cuban Missile Crisis, which brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. He also signed the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, a crucial step in controlling the arms race. But behind the charm was a trail of secrets. JFK was known for his womanizing, with affairs that stretched far beyond Marilyn Monroe. While infidelity isn't shocking for a politician, his reckless behavior raised security concerns. His secret meetings and flings could have been used for blackmail, putting national security at risk. Add to that his heavy reliance on painkillers and stimulants due to chronic health issues, and you start to see a leader whose personal life was more chaos than Camelot. Henry Ford, the father of the modern automobile and the assembly line. But did you know he also had a disturbing side hustle? Writing anti-Semitic propaganda. Ford published The International Jew, a series of articles filled with blatant anti-Semitism. He used his wealth and influence to spread conspiracy theories that fueled hatred across the world. Even Hitler reportedly admired him. Ford revolutionized the automotive industry with the Model T and the assembly line, making cars affordable for the average American. His innovations not only transformed manufacturing, but also had a profound impact on the American economy and society. However, his legacy is marred by his controversial views and actions. Not exactly the kind of legacy you want driving into history. Einstein, a certified genius and everyone's favorite quirky scientist. But his personal life? Let's just say it's not exactly a theory of relativity. Einstein's first marriage to Mileva was far from idyllic. He reportedly imposed a bizarre contract on her, demanding she cook and clean while completely ignoring her own academic ambitions. And when things got rocky, he had multiple affairs, including one with his cousin. Turns out, E doesn't just equal MC2, it also equals messy choices squared. Despite his personal flaws, Einstein's contributions to science are monumental. His theory of relativity revolutionized our understanding of space and time. He also played a crucial role in the development of quantum mechanics and even influenced the creation of the atomic bomb. Einstein's legacy continues to impact modern physics and our daily lives. His brain was even preserved for scientific study, a testament to his enduring influence. Thomas Edison, one of the most famous inventors of all time. The light bulb, the phonograph, and even early motion pictures, all attributed to him. But the reality is a little dimmer. Edison was notorious for taking credit for ideas that weren't entirely his. For instance, the light bulb was a culmination of work by many inventors before him. Edison's real contribution was improving the filament and creating a practical, long-lasting bulb. Take Nikola Tesla, for instance. Tesla worked for Edison and developed revolutionary ideas about alternating current, or AC. Edison, a staunch supporter of direct current, or DC, dismissed Tesla's ideas, and then went out of his way to discredit AC, even electrocuting animals in public demonstrations to make it seem dangerous. This was part of the infamous War of Currents. Edison's impact on modern technology is undeniable, but his methods were often controversial. Turns out Edison wasn't just an inventor, he was also an early PR spin doctor, with a dark side. His relentless self-promotion and willingness to undermine others left a complicated legacy. Christopher Columbus is often portrayed as the brave explorer who discovered America. But let's unpack that myth, shall we? Columbus set sail in 1492 under the Spanish flag, aiming to find a new route to Asia. Columbus didn't discover anything. People were already living here. The Americas were home to thriving civilizations like the Taino, Aztec, and Inca. What he did do was kickstart a wave of brutal colonization. His voyages opened the door for European powers to exploit and conquer these lands. Under his rule, indigenous populations were enslaved, tortured, and decimated. Columbus implemented a system of forced labor, leading to immense suffering. In fact, his own contemporaries criticized his cruelty, something you don't hear about in grade school. Figures like Bartolomé de las Casas documented these atrocities. Let's just say Columbus Day hits a little different when you know the full story. The name Chanel is synonymous with luxury and elegance, but Coco Chanel's story has a darker thread woven into it. During World War II, Chanel wasn't just making chic dresses, she was also cozying up to Nazis. As a lover of a German officer, she lived in luxury while much of France suffered under occupation. Some evidence even suggests she acted as a spy for the Nazis, using her connections to further her interests. Chanel's influence extended beyond fashion. She revolutionized women's wear by introducing more comfortable and practical designs. Born into poverty, Chanel spent her early years in an orphanage where she learned to sew. She started her career by opening a small hat boutique, which eventually grew into a fashion empire. So next time you see that iconic Chanel No. 5 bottle, just remember, history isn't always as glamorous as it seems. Chanel's designs broke away from the restrictive corsets of the time, offering women a new sense of freedom and elegance. Her relationships with powerful men, including artists and politicians, often sparked controversy and fueled her rise in the fashion world. Despite the controversies, Chanel's legacy endures, influencing modern fashion and continuing to inspire designers around the globe. Picasso, the genius of modern art, born in Malaga, Spain in 1881. He created masterpieces like Guernica and Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, and his Blue Period and Rose Period showcased his evolving style. Transitioning from somber tones to more vibrant hues, he pioneered Cubism with Georges Braque, breaking objects into geometric shapes. Later, he explored Surrealism, pushing the boundaries of reality and continuously reinventing his style. Picasso's influence on modern art is undeniable, with his work inspiring countless artists and shaping 20th century art. However, Picasso was notoriously abusive in his relationships. He once described women as either goddesses or doormats. His affairs often left emotional wreckage, with several of his lovers suffering severe mental health issues, and in some cases, suicide due to his manipulation. So, while his art was groundbreaking, his treatment of the women in his life, less so. Teddy Roosevelt is remembered as a trust-busting, national park-creating, larger-than-life president. And sure, he did some great things. But there's a part of his legacy that's often overlooked. Roosevelt was a staunch believer in American expansionism, and he didn't shy away from the idea of cultural superiority. His policies and rhetoric often perpetuated the idea that Native Americans were obstacles to progress, rather than people with their own rights and histories. Turns out, even a president who loved nature didn't always love all the people in it. Roosevelt's military career is also notable. He led the Rough Riders during the Spanish-American War, becoming a national hero. His role in the construction of the Panama Canal was pivotal, showcasing his commitment to American engineering and global influence. On a personal note, Roosevelt was a devoted family man, often seen playing with his children and enjoying the outdoors. However, his love for nature was complex. While he championed conservation, he was also an avid hunter, participating in safaris and big game hunts. Roosevelt's speeches and debates were legendary, filled with vigor and conviction, leaving a lasting impact on American politics. He even won the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts in negotiating the end of the Russo-Japanese War, highlighting his diplomatic prowess. Roosevelt's legacy is a tapestry of achievements and controversies, painting a complex portrait of a man who shaped a nation. Born in 1858, Roosevelt overcame childhood asthma through a rigorous physical regimen, setting the stage for his lifelong advocacy of the strenuous life. He graduated from Harvard University in 1880, where he excelled in both academics and athletics. Roosevelt began his political career as a New York State assemblyman, where he quickly made a name for himself as a reformer. As police commissioner of New York City, he implemented significant reforms to combat corruption and improve the police force. His tenure as Assistant Secretary of the Navy saw him advocate for a stronger naval presence, laying the groundwork for his later military exploits. As governor of New York, Roosevelt continued his reformist agenda, focusing on labor rights and public health. Roosevelt's ascent to the vice presidency in 1901 was a stepping stone to the highest office, following the assassination of President McKinley. His presidency was marked by progressive policies, including the establishment of the National Park System and the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act. Even after his presidency, Roosevelt remained politically active, running for office again in 1912 as the candidate of the Progressive Bull Moose Party. Roosevelt's death in 1919 marked the end of an era, but his influence on American politics and society endures to this day. Beyond politics, Roosevelt was a prolific writer, authoring over 35 books on subjects ranging from history to hunting. His adventurous spirit led him on expeditions to Africa and South America, where he documented new species and contributed to scientific knowledge. Roosevelt's charisma and energy made him a beloved figure, inspiring generations to embrace the strenuous life and pursue their passions with vigor. And finally, let's bring it into the modern era with Elon Musk, a genius billionaire or just another flawed human. Musk is celebrated for his innovations from Tesla to SpaceX. But behind the scenes, he's been accused of fostering toxic work environments, union busting, and making questionable social media comments that have real-world consequences. Love him or hate him, one thing's clear: Musk knows how to keep the spotlight and the criticism on him. Legacies are complicated. These figures change the world, but at what cost? The next time someone tells you to idolize a historical figure, remember, they're human just like us. Flawed, messy, and sometimes outright awful. Got more names for me to investigate? Drop them below. I'm always ready to dig up history's skeletons. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the legends. History is a tapestry woven with threads of truth and myth. By exploring the past, we understand the present and shape the future. So, keep digging, keep questioning, and never stop learning. Until we meet again, remember, history is not just a story, it's our story.